Everyone. This is Bob Hale with MLB Expansion Facebook group. I'm here with my co-admin, Marcus Turner. And today, our guest is Mr. Rick Curti, who is the founder and CEO of the grassroots movement to bring MLB to Charlotte, North Carolina. And Rick has been doing this for 16 years. He founded this back in May of 2010. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's a long time. Welcome, Rick.
Thanks for having me, guys. I appreciate it.
I'm glad we were able to connect. Tell me how things are going in Charlotte these days.
Well, it's very, very hot right now. It's like 91 degrees. We're going through a heat wave. But I mean, this city is red hot right now. Even though we're not in Raleigh, we're still in the great state of North Carolina, and the Hurricanes won the Stanley Cup. Our Panthers were in the playoffs. The Hornets are doing better. Charlotte FC is one of the hottest MLS teams right now. We're actually going to host the All-Star game next season in Charlotte. So just so much excitement coming to our city.
Now, Rick, I see the logo on your shirt there. It says Charlotte Bats.
Yeah.
So Charlotte wouldn't be going with the name Carolina Bats?
I don't know. I mean, we'll see. This is sort of like my vision for it. So I mean, they call them Carolina or Charlotte. As long as they're in North Carolina, I'm happy. But I think Charlotte sounds better to me. Sort of like Pittsburgh. They're not the Pennsylvania Pirates. The Pittsburgh Pirates.
Right, and the Hornets picked Charlotte for their the NBA Hornets. I know that the Charlotte Metro has got 2 counties, I believe, that are actually in South Carolina.
Yes, I mean, yeah, we have York County there and everything, and that's the great thing about we live in a border state. So when people say that Charlotte's a small town, which is not, it's like one of the fastest growing media markets right now in the United States. We just say, well, we're like 2 states in one because we got South Carolina, and they don't have pro teams. They have a minor league baseball team. Of course, they got Clemson there. They got South Carolina Gamecocks. So there's no pro teams there. So we're really like 2 big growing states in one.
Now, it looks like one of the biggest things in Charlotte sports-wise is NASCAR.
Absolutely. We have the NASCAR Hall of Fame here in Uptown, not downtown, Uptown Charlotte, that we like to call it. And it's really growing. We got Charlotte Motor Speedway in Concord, which is about 25 minutes away from Charlotte. So, and you got 2 of the most legendary race car drivers from North Carolina, and Dale Earnhardt is from Kannapolis, which is not too far from me. And of course, Richard Petty. They're both from North Carolina. So this is the home of NASCAR, not to offend other states that will say the same.
Well, how was attendance at the Coca-Cola Classic on Memorial Day?
It was great. I mean, we have a lot of NASCAR fans here. They actually have a NASCAR event going on before that. It's called Speed Week. We used to have it in Uptown. They now moved it to Lowe's, Charlotte Motor Speedway. Sorry, it used to be called Lowe's. Now it's called Charlotte Motor Speedway in Concord, North Carolina. It's a huge event. They had a lot of people coming there. And unfortunately, sadly, Kyle Busch passed away, and it was a lot of somberness going on. He lived in North Carolina, a big staple here, and it's just so sad that someone that young and in his prime passed away.
Right. Oh, yeah. They had a sellout on Memorial Day, I believe.
Yes, I mean it's
full
crazy.
Capacity 95,000.
A lot of people. Yep, we have a lot of NASCAR lovers out here, and it's totally NASCAR country out here. They love their NASCAR. It's huge, it's big, and we got people from all over coming here for that and for the NASCAR Hall of Fame.
I would imagine that there are a lot of transplants. Marcus and I have talked about this. People, it's a growing city. Maybe 30, 40 years ago was a, smaller town. I think they were an affiliate of the Baltimore Orioles for a while.
Yes.
Class A or double A. I'm not sure, but it's grown. It's one of the top markets in the company, top TV markets. It's the second biggest banking center in the United States next to New York.
Yeah.
Very impressive.
Sure.
Marcus,
Oh, go ahead.
no, I'm sorry, Marcus, any thoughts?
Well, Rick, I'm a native North Carolinian, and I've seen Charlotte grow from that city that was trying just to get the Hornets with 325,000 people
Yeah.
to now Charlotte is approaching 1 million people. It's also the largest town in the U.S. that has NBA, NFL, and MLS, but no MLB team. And it's
Absolutely.
something that a lot of people don't know. My question to you is, of course, you want to try to attract everybody to Charlotte and, make it a city vibe, but I imagine a Charlotte team would appeal on a regional level, like Bob was saying, to South Carolina and even to the people in Raleigh and the Triad and elsewhere. Do you think that that's one of the driving forces behind maybe getting Charlotte a team, because it's kind of centrally located somewhat in the Carolinas?
Yeah.
So that's another point I wanted to make.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I mean, that's the great thing is that, we could support NFL, we could support, MLS, we could support NBA. We have a women's soccer team here now. We have a lacrosse team here now. We just got a women's basketball team here called the Charlotte Crowns. I mean, it's just become such a booming sports town. I've been here 20 years, and I could tell you it's grown. When I first moved to Charlotte, people are like, "Oh yeah, didn't you move to Charlottesville, Virginia?" Like, no, I live in Charlotte, North Carolina. Oh no, you moved to Charleston, right? No, I moved. We were always getting confused now. Now you say Charlotte, people know what we're talking about. It's like 150 people a day are moving to Charlotte, North Carolina. It's one of the biggest booming cities next to Orlando, next to Nashville. Charlotte, I think right now is the fourth fastest growing city in the U.S., which surprises a lot of people. It's a super duper underrated city. Not a lot of people know how much money comes here, the banks, the hospitals, the techs that come here. And the great thing about it is that South Carolina doesn't have pro team. You can go to Kentucky, Mississippi, Louisiana. The only true Southern team that they have are the Atlanta Braves. That's it. We need another Southern team here. And I know Nashville's, possibly going to get an expansion team as well. So this is such a gold mine for another sports town, and we could support it. And Raleigh, look at them. The Hurricane just won the Stanley Cup, so that shows that we are a championship state as well.
Well, in the 1990s, there was NFL expansion, and Charlotte had an owner named Jerry Richardson, who
Correct.
actually played with the Baltimore Colts. So we were familiar with them up here. And anyway, I don't know if you remember, but back in 95, they were going to announce two winners, and they announced Charlotte getting the Carolina Panthers, and then they paused everything. And they had to come back a month later to award Jacksonville, because at the time, I don't think Jacksonville had an ownership group, and Baltimore had three. Baltimore had three ownership groups, but Jacksonville and Charlotte got those teams. And the NFL has done a better job in the Southeast than Major League Baseball. With Nashville and Charlotte, and of course Jacksonville and Tampa. They've been there for many years, long before MLB. And it just, there's something else I miss. Oh, New Orleans.
Yes,
it's New Orleans. So National Football League has hit the Southeast, and that's probably the biggest disparity between baseball and football is the Southeast. And then, there was talk about the Chicago White Sox have a lot of connections with Charlotte, because that's where their AAA team is.
Yes,
right?
the Charlotte Knights, yes.
Okay. And I believe that 3 of their top 4 minor league affiliates are in North Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep. We have Durham Bulls, we got Hickory, Asheville Taurus, a lot of minor league baseball in North Carolina.
right. The Carolina League. Carolina is very good for baseball, and I just think, I've heard that Chicago is always a possibility if they didn't get a stadium deal, or they might reach out. Do you know if anybody in the government has reached out to that organization?
No, not that I know of. I know the mayor at one time said that we need a Major League Baseball team. There's always been rumors of maybe Tampa, coming to Charlotte, but I know Barry Larkin has an ownership group in Orlando who's trying to get Tampa, because I mean they've had so many problems since day one, and I think Tampa should have probably moved to Orlando in the beginning, in my opinion. It just having that team in St. Petersburg has just been a disaster. But no, there hasn't been any word about the White Sox. That would be great. I mean, that would make the most sense if they're going to move to Charlotte, since your minor league baseball team, the Charlotte Knights, are affiliated here. But right now, no word about that right now.
Well, you're obviously connected with the metro area. You have a journalistic background, right?
Yeah, somewhat. I've done media work and stuff like that.
Okay.
So yes.
Has anybody stepped forward as far as a potential investor?
Now, right now, the thing that's hurting us and that Raleigh has that advantage of is an ownership. You got Tom Dundon, who's trying to bring an MLB team to Raleigh, and he's one of the most successful, most wealthiest owners in all of sports. And that's what's hurting Charlotte. I'm very, very surprised there hasn't been like Michael Jordan or even David Tepper. To me, Tepper would be the one. He brought Major League Soccer here. He's a businessman. The Panthers are doing well. To me, he's the one that to be someone to I would contact, or I want to contact, and see what happens. But right now
Well,
there's
back
no
in the
ownership.
1990s, there were 2 rounds of MLB expansion, and Charlotte did apply. They submitted an application both rounds.
Right.
They didn't get it, but they did apply for it. So it'd be interesting if you look back, who was the head community leader, and who was the head investor at that point.
Well, I know the Minnesota Twins almost moved here. They were trying to get a stadium, and the owner was going to sell it. And Don Beaver, he used to own the Charlotte Knights. He's from Huntersville, North Carolina. He was going to buy the Twins, and he was going to move them to Charlotte. And I think they put a vote for a new stadium, and I think the vote came that they didn't want a stadium, and then that went down. And I don't think they were going to move. I think it was the owner wanted a new stadium, and you know how owners are. Hey, if I don't get a stadium, I'm going to move to Charlotte. I'm going to move to Nashville. I'm going to move to Portland, whatever. And then eventually they get what they want, and then they build their stadium. But at one time in the '90s, that was the closest Charlotte ever got to a Major League Baseball team, with the Minnesota Twins.
Well, there are 900 billionaires out there in the United States, and a lot more internationally. I would think that when baseball comes around and says, okay, on your marks, get set, go, apply, is it too late for an investor to, step forward, or a political person? Because a grassroots movement is good, but as you admit, and we've talked offline,
Yeah.
some of these other Southeast cities like Nashville and Orlando, and of course Raleigh, are kind of ahead as far as progressing towards getting ready for a bid.
True. No, I don't think so. Right now, when they expand, they're going to expand by two, and the word that Nashville's like pretty much a done deal. It seems like Nashville will get the team. They want one team on the East Coast and one team on the West Coast. And the rumors that Utah might possibly get an MLB team now that they got NHL. So right now, those two teams, those two places right now are probably further ahead than Charlotte or Raleigh or Orlando right now, and those probably going to be the most likely destinations. So to me, it's never too late. You just got to keep plugging and plugging and plugging away.
Well, you've been at this for 16 years, and what made you start this? What
Well,
was
I moved here. I'm originally from Los Angeles, so I grew up a Dodger Angel fan. I moved to Las Vegas where we had no teams. So this is before fantasy sports. Nobody wanted to have a pro team in Las Vegas. Now look at it now. And so when I moved to Charlotte, and I thought, you know what? I just kept thinking, why has North Carolina never had Major League Baseball? And the more I lived here, I just thought it doesn't make any sense. We got NBA football, now we got soccer, women's soccer. We got a lacrosse team here now, and now we have a women's basketball team. People are moving here like crazy. Nobody's from Charlotte. We're all transplants, and South Carolina doesn't have anything next door. And I said, why have they? And people would always tell me they wouldn't. We would never support it. Which I'm like, one of the fastest growing cities right now. I mean, we got money like with the banks and the hospitals. This to me is like a gold mine. And so I just started doing like work on it and started seeing like how many people live here, the demographics, the medium income and stuff like that. And I said we could totally support it. We have a bigger, more people in Charlotte than like 14 cities right now that have Major League Baseball. And when they compare our city, it's usually compared to Pittsburgh, which is a great sports town. And so I just started doing more digging and started asking people, and people were saying, right on, we should do this. And it just grew and grew and grew over the years.
Well, it's interesting you mentioned Pittsburgh. I've traveled there. I've been to their sports bars there. It's neat that all their three pro teams there have the same color scheme.
Yeah.
Than the black, the Steelers, the Pirates, and the Penguins. And I used to travel down to an office in Charlotte. And I've told this to Marcus, but I remember it was in football season and walking around about 100 cubicles in this big phone center, and everyone's displaying their NFL team, but I didn't see any Panthers. It was all Green Bay, the Patriots,
Yeah.
the Giants, the Cowboys, every other team. It was transplants.
A lot of transplants. A lot of people were Falcons fans before the Panthers. And like I said, we have Steeler fans here. We got the Steeler fans are insane when they come here. We got like Bears fans
I
here.
think if you're whatever is your NFL team, I think that sticks with you more than an MLB team. Like if I retire and go somewhere else, I'll probably, I've been an Orioles fan for 60 years, but I would probably adapt. You can have two teams, but I don't think you can have two football teams.
No.
I think so I get, how's the attendance at the Knights game? They do pretty well in minor league attendance, don't
they?
Yeah,
they've done very, very well. Even before, unfortunately after the pandemic, things took a dip, but their attendance is really solid right now. They're actually doing really, really well. And so their attendance as well, and people have fun. I've gone to the Knights games a whole bunch of times. It's a great stadium. You go there, it's like one of the best minor league ballparks in the U.S. right now. And
it's beautiful, but I don't think they could expand it for Major League.
No, they would have to build a new stadium, just like Raleigh would have to build one, and Nashville and Orlando and all that. We're all in the same boat about getting a new stadium, so they couldn't expand it. But it's beautiful. They have the sky, the super duper underrated skyline in Charlotte. If you see that skyline, it's beautiful. Like I said, Charlotte is a very, very underrated city. It doesn't get the attention it gets as a big growing city. Even my family are like, I read something about Charlotte the other day. They're like surprised. I'm like, I'm not. It's growing they're growing like weeds.
Well, it's a generational thing. It's a new generation city. So I'm on this call now, and I'm with a guy from Charlotte and a guy from Raleigh, and I'm going to ask you, Rick, if Raleigh gets a Major League Baseball expansion team or relocation team, would you support it? Would the Charlotte people go up there? Would they watch the games on TV?
Oh yeah, I would support it. People always ask me because there's this rivalry that between Charlotte and Raleigh, just like Duke and Tar Heels. You have to hate each other. I don't hate anybody. I love Raleigh. Raleigh's a great city, great people. I know there's a group out there. I've met the guy who's trying to bring MLB to Raleigh. Great place. And if they brought it to Raleigh, I'd be happy. I would totally support it. The people from Charlotte would support it, just like they supported and rooted for the Hurricanes to win the Stanley Cup. So I would support it.
If they were the Raleigh Hurricanes, would they feel different? They were the Carolina Hurricanes.
Yeah, I always thought they should have been in Charlotte, but I think everything should be in Charlotte. But you know, I remember when they were the Hartford Whalers and they moved there, and I thought NHL in North Carolina. That's when I didn't know nothing about it. And but like I said, people totally support it. This is a great sports state. They love their sports. They love their college sports. We get stereotyped a lot with college basketball with Duke and the Tar Heels, and people don't realize that North Carolina has truly become a great professional sports town.
Now, I'll throw the same question at Marcus because Marcus is a Raleigh native. If Charlotte got the MLB expansion team, would would you support them? Would you watch their games? Would you go down there for some games?
Absolutely, 100%. North Carolina as a sports state, I found that when the Panthers came on board in 1993, when we got awarded that expansion team, everybody in the skate was energized. The Charlotte Hornets, when we first got them in 1988, the state was energized. And now you see what's happening with the Carolina Hurricanes. People in Charlotte are embracing the Hurricanes and celebrating them as if they were their own team as well, which they are. You know, we play preseason games all the time in Charlotte over the years. So absolutely, if Charlotte got a team, I would 100% support whatever they decide to name it, and I would go to a few games because I think it's important. And one other point I wanted to bring up: Charlotte hosted Banana Ball last year.
Right.
75,000 people in Bank of America Stadium, which actually at the time broke the Banana Ball 2-day records. So it's feasible if they could figure it out. Maybe you could play baseball in Bank of America Stadium on a temporary basis while the new stadium is being built in Charlotte. So I just wanted to bring that up as well.
That's a very good point. It's a
Absolutely.
very good point. If they gave you a 3-year head start, though, you might not need a temporary ballpark. Uh, that seemed to be the trend that has been happening there. Um, I assume that if Major League Baseball comes to Charlotte, that there'd be plenty of sponsorships. It's got a great corporate base, so there'd be no problem there.
Now, Bank of America is headquartered here. We got Novant. We got Atrium Hospital. I mean, it's just so many business. We got Harris Teeter, Food Line, all these grocery store. We got Charlotte Motor Speedway. Got so many sponsors here. It's crazy. Like I
Well,
said, how much support we would have.
if the owners are all sitting around a room and they're listening to the candidate cities make their presentations, it's probably helpful for both Raleigh and Charlotte if somebody is saying how great North Carolina is, right? Because they're hearing
Absolutely.
it twice.
Yeah, I mean, I tell people that all the time about Charlotte and about how we should get Major League Baseball and stuff like that. And I show them the statistics and I mean, like I told them, 150 people a day are moving to Charlotte. That's insane. You know, it's crazy. And I've been here 20 years and I've seen the growth. I've seen it when, like I said, people thought I was in Charlottesville, Virginia. I'm like, no, I'm in Charlotte, North Carolina. Oh, I mean, like Mayberry. I'm like, no, it's not Mayberry. You know, they always think it's like Andy Griffith Show. It's a big, growing city, medium-sized city like Nashville is. It's Orlando. It's like it's on fire right now. You know, and it's just a great place to retire. You got the beaches out here. You got the mountains out here. It's a beautiful state.
Was there any thought about what would fit better, the American League or the National League?
I've always liked the National League. I've always been a big National League fan. I hate the DH. You know, to be quite honest with you, I know they have it in both areas, but I've always been. But you know what? I really don't care. I'm just happy to see
Well,
a
you
team.
got National League in Atlanta and National League in Washington D.C.
Yeah, I mean, I think what would be great is they started a whole like a Southern League, and you can put like, and they had to relocate some teams, and like you could put like if Tampa was in Orlando, you can have Orlando, Charlotte, and then Nashville could be there, and then you can have like Miami, the Miami Marlins in that division, and you can start a whole new Southern League, and now those will represent the whole southern area because they got so much baseball on the West Coast, they got so much baseball in the Midwest. They got the Braves, that's it. And you put Braves, you could put Charlotte or Raleigh, Nashville, Miami, and boom, right there, you start a whole new Southern League and a whole bunch of fans.
Well, a lot of our members are always throwing realignment proposals, and some are very, very interesting. I mean, in the way they do that. I'll just want to talk to you about the case for Major League Baseball expansion. Once in a while, we get a person who says there are too many teams, and I look on their profile and it says New York Mets.
Yeah, yeah,
you have a team. What do you have a team? You know, not everyone has a team, but I think with the increase in population and foreign talent, Japan, you know, I think there's enough talent to go along. What do you think, Rick?
totally. I mean, look at Otani. I mean, he has really just revolutionized, foreign baseball and major leagues, and shown that a lot of these great talents have come in from Japan, can come to Major League Baseball and take over. I mean, he's probably the most popular, probably the best player right now in baseball. I mean, when I heard about him, I was just like, oh, you hear these guys that come from Japan, they don't do well, and he's been the real deal. So I mean we have Dominican Republic, and you got Puerto Rico, Venezuela, Mexico, all those places. So I mean, baseball is a huge, huge global sport.
Yeah, Mexico just celebrated their 100th year as a Mexican league. So yeah, that's a very good point. Every time we go, and I remember expansion going back to the 1960s, there's always somebody that says there's too many teams. But
yeah,
given the young person an opportunity to have a job, and the fans want it, the players union wants it, the owners want it. I think it's going to happen, and I hope that the collective bargaining thing gets hammered out soon, and we can start the expansion process.
Yeah, we don't want to see another lockout. We saw what happened in '94, and it took a while. It took a long time for the fans to come back to Major League Baseball. That's the last thing you want to do, especially right now with this economy. You see all these multi-millionaires and billionaires complaining about, I'm only making $5 million a year. I mean, you have people struggling. People don't want to see that. So hopefully,
No,
if they have
absolutely
another
not.
lockout, it would be idiotic.
I agree, because people will just find something else to do.
Yep, and football, they'll have football, and then MLS is growing, got hockey, got lacrosse, which is another growing sport. So people will just tune out and say, I'll do something else.
Very good. Well, listen, we're going to leave it at that there, if that's all right with you, Rick. And
Sure.
Thank you very much. This has been Bob Hale and Marcus Turner with our guest, Rick Curti, representing the Charlotte Bats Major League Baseball Expansion Group. Thank you for
guys.
joining us.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.